G'day everyone, it's Sam, and just for a change I'm spored shitless. Today I want to talk to you about when to first water your gametophytes. So once you've sown your spore, I want to go through when you should open your container to start introducing some water and some fertilizer to encourage growth. So this guy here was done in October on the 22nd. It's now the 11th of November, and I've only opened this up once, this particular container here. I've only opened up once to do a video. What I try and do, once I've sown the spore, I try not to open the container for about 3 or 4 weeks. Now, you'll know when the time's right, because obviously you can see through the container. You want to see a complete coverage of green. My lighting's always terrible, but you can see that coverage of green. See if we can go, that's better, look at that. Right, so see that film of green all the way across the top? That means you can fairly well predict that most of your spore have germinated. So they're on their way now. So what we'll do now is we'll grab this little guy and we'll put him under the microscope and just give you a look of let you look what the gametophytes should look like. So there they are, they're nice and healthy growth. So they're starting to form the little fertilize, the little heart-shaped structures. So once they reach this stage, you can start introducing some water and fertilizer. Now, I've done some videos on pH and watering and what fertilizers to use. I've even done one on bottles. So what we'll do now, we won't use the one from Hammerbarn. We'll use this nano sprayer, I think it's called, that people were using during COVID to disinfect their house and their siblings and their offspring and whatever. So I'll show you how fine the mist is and why it works so effectively. So we'll just go back here, try not to jerk around too much. We'll put it on high. See that fine mist? We'll go down there, you can see it go on. Right, so we've missed that for about 5 seconds. Turn it off so we don't fertilize the desk. And then we'll put it back under the microscope and I'll show you what it should look like. Oh, what's happened there? It's turned off. Oh, silly computer. Hang on. Sorry guys. Is it turning on? We'll get there eventually. It's like watching grass grow. Well, sort of, aren't we? Alright, there we go in focus. Alright, so see the little droplets all over the gametophytes? That there is perfect. So you've got droplets on the fertilize, you've got droplets in between, and as soon as you close that lid, that's going to provide a perfect little humidity layer over the surface of your gametophytes. And see how there's some moisture around the edges? What I do too is try and go all around the edge to put some beads along there. That's perfect. Then you put your lid on top and that'll trap your humidity in there, and that should last at least a couple of weeks. If you want to mollycoddle it, that word, like I do, you can open it more often just to see how they're growing, but that's what you should be aiming for, a nice little fine layer. Now I'll show you with the bigger fertilizer bottle, this one here from Hammerbarn. Pump him up to get some pressure. Adjust the nozzle so it's not blasting our little gametophytes. Oh, we're still blasting. What's going on here? Alright, do this properly. Now what I'll do is I'll overspray this deliberately, and I'll show you exactly why we don't overspray. Put this back under the microscope so we can check it out. Now, what happens is, this isn't too bad, like I've done it heaps worse than this, where the fertilizer have actually been covered in water. If that water doesn't drain away properly, there's too much water around the rhizoids of your gametophyte, and you'll actually slow down growth. Your tropical species might be okay, because if you're 28 degrees plus, they're much more forgiving. But for most of us who are growing in the cooler climates, that's probably a little bit, that's probably borderline. But the misting on top encourages growth far, far better. Make sense? So yeah, try not to flood the top. So that was what? Just over 2 weeks old, that container there. So I've probably done that a little bit early. Try and aim for 3 or 4, but as long as you can see that thin film of green and it's populated most of your container, that means that most of the spores have germinated, and that's what we're trying to leave before we water it for the first time. Make sense? All right, we'll move on to this one. So this one was done in September on the 22nd, just with details. Platycerium Superbum, using the fertilizer Manutech Nitro, and it was 5 pH. I used this one. This was Yates Thrive. Both of these work really, really well. I've got a comparison video that you guys can check out. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, high nitrogen content usually works really, really well. So I'll zoom in here, you can see what stage they are there. Nice little field of green. I've missed, when I was sowing there, missed some spots. But you can see how, when I first started growing these things, I would look at that and go, geez, it's dry. It's not, it's still holding moisture. That there, the lighter coloured core, that's dry, but they will continue to grow, especially Superbum. So we'll chuck him under the microscope. I'll look up here. Try and focus it in. There we go. Look at those. They're beautiful, aren't they? Well, I think they are anyway. Nice little heart-shaped fertilizer there. Haven't got their sexual organs yet. It's only been 2 months. About 3 months they'll start appearing. And this one's ready to water because see, all around the side, it's dry. And obviously you've got some substrate dry. You could leave this container for at least 2 weeks and it would be fine. What we'll do is we'll get our mister. Go along the top, around the sides. Now, I'm not suggesting you buy one of these. The salesman obviously saw me coming and, you know, there's always a sucker, right? You can use one of these. Just make sure you adjust down to fine spray, right? Pump it up. But just if you're using this spray, just go along the top and that's it. See that glistening that you can see? Absolutely perfect. That's what you're looking for. And that'll evaporate off your gametophytes, it'll evaporate off your substrate, create a nice little humid environment. With the lid on, you're probably looking at 95% plus humidity. You've got your hole for gas exchange. Yeah, Bob's your mother's brother. Beautiful. All right, so we'll pop the lid back on that guy. Whack them back down with the rest of the obsessive compulsive mob. Get our Thrive one. We'll put him down there underneath the lights. And that's what you need to do. So when you do your containers, make sure you put your dates on. That way you can, if you've got this many, if you've got one, well, you know, you're a normal person. But if you've got 400, you've obviously got a problem. But if you have got a problem like I have, put the dates on them. And then you can keep track of what's going on. And if you've got a range of different fertilizers you're using, put the fertilizer details on there. And you can see what works and what doesn't. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful. And can get you through to the plantlet stage, and you can have some success and start a YouTube channel and waste your time like I do. Alright, take it easy guys. See ya.